it wasn't good, and it didn't help. Like, it didn't fix the problem that I initially had, which was elbow pain. So I still had elbow pain. Um, if anything, it just prolonged my injury to where I had to get more answers very, very fast rather than I couldn't take a month off or something, and I had to get surgery unless I couldn't play the next year. So I'd be sitting out 2 years and wouldn't be able to play another season of baseball if I didn't like do it fast. And with this case, whenever I first went to this doctor, my expectations were wide, I guess you could say. And as he slowly started to not give me answers and stuff, my expectations went from very wide to narrower and narrower until basically I didn't really have any expectations or hopes for this doctor. Um, the doctors they weren't very competent with what they were talking about. It seemed like he doesn't really know much about elbows or baseball care or much stuff that as a school doctor you would think that they know a lot about a lot of sports rather than just football or knees or something like that. So it was tough to deal with, and he wasn't very explanatory and didn't really like describe to us the details of what I had to do exactly. He just basically said, "You're fine, just take time off, don't do anything." And the next thing I know, I'm getting a cortisone shot within whenever I come back because it's still hurting. So, overall, it was a very, very bad experience, and yeah, it just felt like my time was wasted. They didn't really I feel like they didn't really like care about me. Um, and if I would have had a positive experience, I'm a college athlete in Natchitoches, so my word of mouth could help him out. Like I could like tell people in the baseball field that I went to this doctor here. He was really good, and it would help him out as promote his business. And sadly, it didn't happen that way. I don't feel that it was very good at all. I I will probably never go to the doctor there if I do have to go, I guess. Um, and after all this happened, we told the doctor that I was actually hurt and I had to get Tommy John and my ulnar and median nerve removed or replaced. He actually never responded to it and he just kind of ignored it, and that's not very ethical, I guess. And like no morals, just doesn't care. Someone else took care of me, I guess, is what he was thinking. And so that's the first service company I would use. And then the second one, I'm using the second doctor that I had. And the first doctor was, I don't want to say any names, but he was in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And then my second doctor was in Arlington, Texas. He actually worked for the Texas Rangers, and he specializes in elbows. That's literally all he does. He Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, he does appointments with people with their elbows, and Tuesdays and Thursdays he does surgeries, and he'll do 5 to 10 surgeries a day on just Tommy John and stuff. So of course, going into this doctor, my hopes are just like I just want answers. That's all I want. And the first time sitting down with this doctor, instantly could see like it felt like he was speaking a different language because he knew so much about the topic and I was so unaware of what was actually going on in my elbow. So it was good because he was explaining to me what was exactly happening in my elbow, and he actually used the MRI from the first doctor, the one that the first doctor looked at, and they cleared me. He used that MRI and he saw obviously something wrong with my elbow. So he did a bunch of tests, and he did a bunch of tests in my hands to basically show me exactly so I could feel what was going on, and not just him just telling me some information to where I'd believe it. He was actually like showing me what is wrong basically. And he was very again with the 5 dimensions of service quality with the second doctor. He was reliable. He he was really intelligent, so he knew what he was talking about. He gave me assurance. So he basically said, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to be done, and this is the timeline that it's going to be done. Tangibles. He gave me everything I needed. He gave me another doctor to go check out my nerves to make sure that my nerves were fine in my elbow. He had all the technology that you need and more to basically do the surgery and make sure that the services that I was needing were going to be met, and my expectations were blown out of the water. It was awesome. Empathy, I don't know if they're very empathetic, I guess you could say, but like they wanted me to be better, and they always just, they're very positive people. They always greet you with smiles, very knowledgeable people. They know what they're talking about. And then responsiveness, they were also really good at that. Like, we had all of our information with the surgery, what I had to do before the surgery, the physical therapy that I had to do after the surgery. Like, they're really good at all of that. And like, I couldn't have asked for the second doctor be any better after the first experience. I was, like I said, but after the first one, my options were very narrow. I didn't really know what was going on, and I needed answers bad because I was a senior, and I couldn't play my last year, so it's obviously not the best time. So it was difficult for me and my family to deal with the first one, still not knowing what's going on in my elbow. And after the second doctor took over, it was smooth sailing from there. It was beautiful. I had my surgery. I woke up from my surgery. Everything was fine. He said the surgery went good. It didn't take long. Got there at 8, finished surgery by 11:30. Was home, and then 2-week process to heal. And this is actually, I don't know if you can see, this is my scar now. But it was the describing the two different situations was it's night and day difference, because the first one, the 5 dimensions of service quality were not there. They just were non-existent, and I didn't feel like my services of what I thought was gonna happen, my expectations, it was just very bad. And then the second doctor was just, I couldn't thank of him enough. It's life-changing. It's going to be life-changing. And the physical therapist that he gave me and everything is just, they're all really knowledgeable, and they know what they're talking about. So I feel like I'm in good hands now. And yeah, those are my 2 companies, that one is good and one is bad, or one is bad, one is good. So thank you for listening, and I hope this works.